Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's workshop. So, tonight we're going to discuss setting New Year's resolutions. Now, we've just had Christmas, so we've got that in between week where we're thinking, what is 2022 going to bring us? Now, I know, obviously, stating the obvious last year, we might not have tackled what was on our resolution for last year. So this year, fingers crossed, we've got the chance to take two, if you will. So I wanted to just set aside 30 minutes and give you maybe some pointers, maybe some tips on how to create some really good New Year's resolutions and how to make them stick so you actually achieve them. So I'm going to share my screen. Fingers crossed. Share screen. There we go. So hopefully you can see our trusty little workshop today. Now I have got some handouts that I've set aside. So if you want the handouts, let me know and I can get them sent over to you. So welcome. Welcome. I hope you're going to enjoy this. You know, there's so many people that spend more time planning their next holiday than they do their next 12 months of their life, which is staggering. So hopefully tonight you're going to be able to take some time to think about what you actually want in 2022 so you can look back and think, yes, that was amazing. So why do New Year's resolutions tend to fail? Did you know that only 3% of people that set New Year's resolutions actually keep them? And normally by the second week of January, they've completely fallen off of their to-do list, their focus, they've gone. So how do we stop that from happening? Well, the thing is that a lot of the time, it's not specific. So, for example, someone might say, "I want to lose weight," which is fine. It's a a great objective, but it's not specific. So it might be, well, how much weight do you want to lose? What would be your target that you would want to lose? That's just an obvious example. Another one is that there's no passion behind it. There's no reason why. There's this sense of, I suppose I could do this. I really want to, but I don't know how. So what's the point of even trying, basically? And there's no motivation, no enthusiasm, no passion behind the why, so that it actually gives them that spark of energy. Once the initial motivation's worn off, what is really going to keep them going? What is really going to keep you fired up on those days where you think, I don't really want to work on this today? It's like, no, I've got that drive, I've got that focus. This is what I want to work on today. And a lot of the times it's a should, but it's not been a must. So again, you're like, oh, I should lose some weight. Oh, I should save a little bit more. I should leave that job that I don't like, I keep moaning about. But they've not made it a must. It's not something where it's here on from now. It's not happening again. I will not have another day go by where it's going to be the status quo of how I'm feeling. So there's no must behind it. I'm going to do it. Come rain or shine, I'm going to be doing this. Another reason why it fails, there's no action plan. So even if they did say, for example, oh, I want to lose the weight, I want to get fit, they don't know how they're going to go about that. Are they going to join a slimming company such as Slimming World or Weight Watchers or A Lighter Life or such? Or are they going to try and do it themselves? Are they going to work with a nutritionist? There's little things like this that needs a little bit of forward planning. Also, it might be a case of what exercise did you want to start? If you wanted to start any at all, did you want to take up tennis? As a friend said to you, oh, let's take up tennis, but you hate tennis. You know, it's like, what is it that you love and that you're going to enjoy, which you can break down into some specific action points. And then another reason that they found was that there's no regular check-in, no progress to see how they're doing. Normally they wait until halfway through the year where maybe someone says, oh, how's your weight loss going? How's your fitness plan going? How's that training towards that run you were going to be doing? How's that going? And you're like, I haven't done anything towards it, because you've taken it off the to-do list, you've taken it off your focus, and you're not doing it anymore. So you need to put in regular action points and regular progress markers so you can see how you're tracking towards that. The obvious is going to be, well, then how do you succeed for 2022? So you find your passion. What is that fire that's going to keep you going? What is that that reason of, I'm going to get in the best shape of my life because I've got a special birthday coming up. I've got a special family event, maybe a wedding or a holiday that you're going to. So there might be a reason that will really fire you up, to fire that passion, or you just want to feel great in your skin. You want to have that confidence. You want to feel amazing. Find your passion and stick with it. The next thing is to find the why. Why do you want it? And then the how comes after. When you really sit down and think of why you want something, then your mind will help you achieve the how. Things will start appearing. There's something in the brain called the reticular activated system, the RAS. And when your brain is told this is your priority, it will seek out like a missile to show you things that is going to help you achieve that. So when your brain realizes that this is what is important for you, it will start showing up. So this is why it's really important to find the why, because amazingly, the how will appear. Then you need to make it really specific. Really narrow it down. Think about how, if it's, say for example, you wanted to, obvious example, lose weight. How much weight, by when, or what size of clothes did you want to fit in, by when, how are you going to achieve it? What are those markers so that you can see this is how you know by a specific date you've achieved it. Anybody could turn up on that date that you've set the deadline for and say yes or no, have you achieved that? So make it as specific as you can. When you've got that specific target, break it down into bite sizes. You don't need to do the whole 12-month plan, but just think about the next segments of what is going to be the next action plan, even if it's within the next day, the next week. What are you going to do to set up so you can start the wheels in motion? And then find a way that you're going to track that, track your progress. Is it a case that you've said, I'm going to work out 3 times a week with a personal trainer? How are you going to monitor that? If you're working with a personal trainer 3 times a week, what are you working towards? What are those goals? What are those specific things that you want to see at the end of those sessions so you know you're working towards your goal? What are those markers? Maybe it's your body fat ratio, maybe it's your BMI. how many push-ups you can do. It doesn't have to be just the weight on the scales. It could be anything, but something that you know that you've worked towards and you can see how you're progressing towards that. So one of the handouts we've got, it's called the Wheel of Life. Now, one way to ensure that you're focusing on all of the areas that are in your life and that they are equally getting focus is to give yourself a score to create that baseline. So let me come across to an example here. So here you can see you've got an example of fun, your physical environments. That could be your home, where you live, business, career, finances, health, family, romance. So you can see there's different categories of focus that you might have in your life. And on the handout, what you'll see is you've got a blank template of this. And the baseline that you can use is to see, okay, out of a scale of 1 to 10, how are you in these areas? So 1 is terrible, 10 is amazing. So have a look at this and think, right, career's going well, career's not going well. For example, score yourself. Then once you've gone through and scored those different areas, feel free as well to also change any of these categories. They're just little prompts to give you an idea. Have a look through and join up those lines the best you can. And like most people that do this, you're not going to end up with a very good equal circle. It's going to be very higgledy-piggledy. You know, you might have a 3 on one, you might have a 7 on another, but it's really good visual to see at a glance, okay, this is the baseline and these are the areas I might want to focus on. So go through, spend maybe five minutes on the handout and have a think. In these different areas, what is it that has come up for you that you're really good at focusing on certain areas, and what areas might need a bit of attention? And then these can be the things that you might want to work on for the next year. And now you've got a baseline, you can see how you're progressing and tracking towards that. So jump over the slides here. Slide. So the next step that you can do is then in those areas, something called, oh, there's the timer, is something called be, do, and have. And this is a really good tool for brainstorming anything that comes to mind. So again, I've created a handout for this. What you do is you get a sheet of paper, you create 3 columns. And on one column, you have all the things you want to be, all the things you want to do, and all the things you want to have. So the things you want to be, things that might be, I want to be healthy, I want to be a non-smoker, I want to be on time, you know, I want to be confident, all the things that you want to be, all of your personal goals. Then do all of the things that you want to do. You know, do you want to the marathon in 2023? Do you want to book a luxury holiday that you've always wanted to go on? Do you want to challenge yourself and go on to an adventure holiday where you might go trekking or something like that? All the things that you want to do. And then finally, all the things you want to have. Have you always wanted your dream car? Have you always wanted a piece of jewelry, some clothes, have a new kitchen? I don't know. Anything that you can think of, brainstorm it. This is a great goal setting tool of getting all those odd things, all those thoughts that come into your mind. Set a timer. You might want to go for 5 minutes. You might want to go for 10 minutes and just scribble for as much as you can. All the things you want to be, things you want to do, and the things you want to have. You can set a greater timescale on this as well. You don't have to stick to the 1 year. You might want to do 5 years and then break it down. But hey, the choice is yours. See how you want to go with that. So I'm going to go to the next slide. You don't skip the timer on this, although it's probably going to beep. Just ignore that. So once you've either done your Wheel of Life or you've done your Be, Do, Have activity, this is the time to then pick your top 3 goals. And the reason I suggest 3 is because it could be quite overwhelming if you decided to work on everything in one go. Some people might like that, but it tends to be pretty overwhelming. But if you've got 3 you can focus on, it's a little bit more manageable. And for that 3, you're going to think about how you're going to break that down. So I'm going to brainstorm your action plan for each of those goals. What I'd like you to think about is start backwards. So if this was December the 20th, the 31st, whatever your deadline is, what would have had to have happened for you to have achieved those goals? And work your way back. So if you had achieved this step, what would you have done to have got towards that? Work back towards that again. What are those milestones that you need to set in place? Think of those action points. Now, this can be broad to begin with and break it down. Once you've broken down that action plan for those 3 items, the next step is to then think about how are you going to do it into bite-sized pieces. So those bite-sized actions, I want you to consider what you can do to get the ball rolling within the next week. Then, what are you going to do in the first 90 days of January, February, March, should I say, for 2022? So that is going to be your segment. That is going to be your focus for the next 90 days. What could you focus on to achieve the next milestones, the next progressions for those top 3 goals? Then you're going to go for June, October, up until December. But what I also want you to consider is the deadlines, those action points, and I want you to put them in your calendar. I want to see that you have written down by X date, you would have achieved such and such. And at each step, create that specific roadmap with those action plans and put the date in your diary. Don't let this be just a paper exercise. I really, really want to see this scheduled in. If it's scheduled, if it's going to happen, if it's just sitting on a bit of paper, it's going to be filed away, put in the bin, you're going to forget about it. What I then really encourage you to do is set each week, 2 weeks, the very most monthly. I want you to track your progress. how are you going to know that you are on track? What are those specific markers that were going to show up that you can say yes or no, you're reaching those milestones, those action point targets and deadlines? Now, don't feel bad if there's a yes and a no. If something is not working, that does not mean it's a reason for you to stop. All that means is we need to find a new way of working towards that. So if plan A didn't work, we go to plan B, we go to plan C. We do not stop just because one little action didn't take place. That wouldn't be very intelligent if we stopped at the first hurdle. It's about progress. It's about learning. It's about failing and then learning new things and how you're going to progress. For example, if there's exercise and you decided that you want to take up running, and then 2 weeks into it, you decide that you hate running, that doesn't mean that you have to then stop your fitness goal for 22. Maybe you find a new way. Maybe you've always wanted to learn to dance. Maybe you want to take Zumba classes. Maybe you want to join a football club. Find something else. Excuse me. But don't get disheartened. Those action steps and those progress markers are so important. That is really going to set you apart from the crowd. This is what's going to set you aside from the masses. If you can sit down, spend 10, 15 minutes, it doesn't have to be big. Just think each week, you sit down when you plan your week ahead. Right, what am I going to do this week to work towards those top 3 goals? What can I do? Who can help me? What can I delegate to? What can I book in? So you know you're keeping that track, and you will be amazed at how fast the work will come in and how much you progress towards it, because now you've activated the RAS, the reticular activated system of your brain. When you show it on a regular basis, this is what is important to you. This is what you want. This is what you're going to achieve. It will move heaven and earth so you can do it. But this is why you need that passion, that motivation, and those reasons why you're going to get up and do it. Because if your brain senses your heart's not really in it, then it will say there's no point. Don't do it. And you'll find excuses, you'll find reasons why not to do it. But if you tell your brain, no, this is important to me, this is why I want it, and this is what it's going to give me, then you've got that spark, then you've got that drive, and you're going to achieve it. So measure your success. Find those markers. Is it that you lose a pound a week of weight? Is it that you can do an extra 1 push-up extra a week each time you do your target? Can you run, shave off 30 seconds off of your best time? What is it going to be? What are those markers that are going to show you are progressing? Because when you see that you're working and you're achieving, you're going to be unstoppable. Keep your goals in sight. Now, there's loads of tips and tricks of what you can do for this. Put it in your diary, your milestones, put in a date, put in your action steps with deadlines for those top 3. And again, it doesn't have to be big. Even if it's schedule a meeting, maybe you're going to sign up. You've always wanted to do an evening class. Find the class, scheduling the nights that you're going to be doing those, what the nights you're going to be doing the homework for. Put it in the diary. Make it really specific and a non-negotiable for changing. If you've set an appointment with yourself, You keep it like you had a doctor's appointment. Put it in your diary. Keep that focus on there. Some people put reminders in their phone, little alarms. You can set up a vision board so you can have pictures around to motivate and inspire you. Maybe change the wallpaper of your desktop or of your mobile phone. So every time you look at that device, your goal pops up. Maybe it was you looking your absolute best. Maybe it's your dream car. Maybe it's the career that you've always wanted. Whatever it is, whatever it might be, find an image that's going to spark that motivation for you, and that little rush of smile and happiness every time you see that. You know that that's the thing that you're working towards. So keep your goals in sight. Celebrate those successes. Any win, little or small, every win is a win. Take it and celebrate it, and you will then snowball. And as you see how you've achieved one thing, you're ready to do the next. You're ready to push yourself. You're ready to challenge yourself to go to the next step and the next level. It's human nature to always want to progress and always want to move on. So find your baseline, find where you are, set that marker, find those top 3 things you're going to work on for this year, break down those milestones, put them in your diary, regularly check on your progress at least once a week, no more than once a month, and keep on target. Even if you fail, even if you fall off the wagon, don't worry. It happens. Life happens. But get back on. Some of the really good accountability things out there that can help as well. Maybe there's Dry January. There's I think it's called Red, where it's keep active for January. There's always Veganuary, go vegan in January. But these little challenges that keep the accountability, you've got that community around you to keep you on target. And the reason most things are done for 30 days is because after those 30 days, you've set that habit in motion and you're likely to continue that. So those are some of the pointers I've got for setting great New Year's resolutions that you're going to be passionate about, that you want to achieve them, and how you're going to make sure that they happen this time next year. So I hope you enjoyed this little workshop. If you want to see the handout, just drop me a message and I can get those emailed over to you. And if you've got any questions, just send me a message and I'm here to help. So best of luck. I hope that you enjoyed this workshop and enjoy your new year. I hope you get to party and have safe fun for 2022. And I'll see you in the next workshop. Thanks for watching. Bye.